Okay. Hello, everybody. My name is Arnaldo Rodriguez, and we are going to be going over Exodus 20 and basically reading the Ten Commandments and stuff and how that correlates to our lives. I will be using not only my study Bible but the Bit Bible app.
My name is Hurkzenn. I go by Herc. I will be using the ESV phone app. Like Arnie said, we'll be covering the Ten Commandments. So before we start reading Exodus 20, I will cover the Ten Commandments with some base notes for all of them. Number one is no other gods. We will put no other gods above the Lord. We only have one true God. Number two is no idols. This is physical or mental idols. Number three is we will not say the Lord's name in vain. Number four is we will maintain the Sabbath day. Number five is honor your parents. Number four is no murder. Or number six is no murder. Number seven is no adultery. Number eight is no stealing. You can't help others if you don't have your own. Ephesians 4:28. Let the thief no longer steal, but rather let him labor. Do honest work with your own hands so that you may have something that you can share with anyone in need. Um, I put that there because there's a couple of these I wanted to highlight some stuff on. I think this is important because it's not only about stealing, but it's about not having anything to give. So I think that's important as well. I
Mhm.
think it kind of correlates in there. Number nine is no false witness. Um, this is actually something that's helped me a lot with Arnie, is the yes or no.
Yes or no?
Matthew 5:37. Let what you say be simply yes or no. Anything more than this comes from evil. This actually helped me a lot through Lent because of Arnie. So um, that one's definitely a yes or no, man. That one sticks to me. And then number 10 is no coveting. I'm ready whenever you are, dog.
Okay.
You want me to start?
uh, yes. Go ahead.
Okay. The Ten Commandments. And God spoke all those saying, I am the Lord your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of slavery. You shall have no other gods before me.
Okay. So what I have written down for that is that the Lord demands exclusive loyalty. As the one true God, he will not tolerate the worship of other false gods. So I have a couple reference verses here, and I have to use on my app real quick. You want to add to that while I look these up?
Yeah. So while you're looking up the verses, to me, those three verses, obviously he comes out the gate and like sets a foundation, right? He lets everyone know that he's the one that saved them. He's the Almighty and he's all we need. And he wants all the praise and all the worship because he's the only one that is worthy, because he's the one and only. I think that's important because that's like the introduction, so to speak, to the people. He's
Hmm.
letting them know that I brought you out of Egypt. I've done all this, and these are what you're gonna do if you want to follow me. And this is why I should be praised because I'm the Almighty.
Hmm. So I have right here Deuteronomy 4:35. To you it was shown that you might know that the Lord is God. There is no other besides Him. And then same chapter, but verse 39. Know therefore today and lay it to your hearts that the Lord is God in heaven above and on earth beneath. There is no other. And then one more for Isaiah.
Old Isaiah, we just were there last week.
Um, Isaiah 45, 5 through 6. I am the Lord, there is no other. Besides me, there is no God. I equipped you, though you do not know me, that people may know from the rising of the sun and from the west that there is none besides me. I am the Lord, and there is no other. So again, that's just stating that there is only one God.
Yeah, repeatedly throughout
Hmm.
Scripture it states that.
So that's why he demands exclusivity, because there's no one else. You
Right.
know?
It's disrespectful
Yeah.
to
And
claim
just
anyone else.
just like and it's gonna mention this elsewhere too about the golden calf.
Hmm
Talk about a slap in the face, dog. But all right. You ready for
All
me?
right, so yeah, for mine it'll be one verse at a time.
Okay. You shall not make for yourself a carved image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth.
So this one's interesting because there's a lot of different interpretations to this one. So I actually wrote down the three main interpretations, religious wise, and then I'll cover what I believe. So the first one is Catholic or Orthodox. They view statues or icons as aids to devotion. It's windows to the divine rather than objects of worship themselves. So they look at it like almost like it keeps them on fire for the Lord, like it keeps them focused on what they need. Protestants often interpret this commandment more strictly, arguing that the images of God, including Jesus, should not be used in worship because this is a form of mental idolatry. So again, it's the extreme opposite side. They both kind of make sense, but it's how your discernment on it, you know.
Hmm.
And the last one would be Jewish or Islamic. Historically, interpret this to forbid nearly all figurative representations of living beings in a religious context. So that's even as as strict as like photos of Jesus and God themselves. Like they don't want any form of that in physical context because they believe that like our representations of what Jesus and God look like are idolatries in their own. So it's
Hmm.
obviously there's three different levels to that. What I believe is that God is all you need, and is all that's allowed. Some believe that not even photos of Jesus to be hung, it's idolatry or worship. If you actually turn away from Jesus and teach your kids the same, you can ruin it for generations. Hate is not trained, but is born of racism. It impacts generations. That it impacts generations. Takes time to correct. So as long as you keep the right focus on the Lord, on God and Jesus, whether that's where you prefer to hang, because like we have angels and crosses in our house. I don't have any
Hmm.
photos of Jesus or God, but we have angels and crosses, which in our house represent God and Jesus. So it keeps the world, it's like our visual representation of what we follow. So
Hmm.
that keeps us on path and it keeps us close to God so that we're not pushed away for generations.
Yeah. If anything, like we don't have any crosses. We do have one picture of Jesus, but we don't worship it. We use it more of as a like a reminder, like remember Jesus. That's not what he looks like. We don't. No one's gonna know what he looks like till we see him face to face. But I do wonder though. What? How do you feel about like crosses?
Well, I think it's symbolic for Jesus hanging on the cross. I think
Hmm.
it's like anything else in life, right? Like if the intent is proper, I think it makes sense. Like I'm not worshiping the crosses, but
Hmm.
it's my outwardly expression to like, this is my Lord. This is who I love. I want
Hmm.
him to be part of my, like I hang photos of my children and my grandparents and my mother and stuff in the house because that's what I love. And I want to take snapshots of history in my life and hang them on the walls. And Jesus and the cross deserve to be there because they're just as important, if not
Yeah.
more important.
Yeah, I think the best ones I think would be the cross because we know what the cross looked like, right?
Right.
And whereas Jesus, I don't want people to be like, when they meet Jesus, they're like, "Oh, I thought you'd look different." You know what I mean?
Oh, because of Arnie's picture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah. But yeah. You want me to go ahead?
Yeah, you could do number five.
Okay. You shall not bow down to them or serve them, for I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers on the children to the third and the fourth generation of those who hate me.
Okay. So this one I might rattle some cages with, but that when I read this verse, it makes me think of like Islamic extremists. Have you heard of honor killing before?
Yes.
So this is what I think when they talk about generations of like pushing them away and it affecting generations. Like
Hmm.
some religions get so extreme that like the punishment for not following that religion is like honor killings, right?
Hmm.
So like if I've watched a video of a girl who found Christianity, like God came to her in her dreams, and like when she would read the Quran, he would tell her like this isn't right, you're in the wrong book. And she knew it was Christianity, but she was afraid to go because of her upbringing. She didn't want
Hmm.
to be honor killed. So I think this is what he's trying to say. Like if you get too far away because you're of idolatry, which would be, like Allah, Muhammad, Buddha, like all those different other worships. Obviously, they're religions, but if you go down those idolatries, it's generational. It takes time to break. Like I know a guy I used to work with is a devout Muslim. Like he's one of the most like he's what I want to be in Christianity, but for Muslims.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the like commitment and stuff. And I asked him like, why do you believe in this? He's like, this is how I was raised. So like he doesn't know the right way because he was raised the wrong way, and that takes generations to break. So that's what makes me think of this. That's why he says for
Ah.
generations it will take to break it.
Okay. Okay. That I didn't see it like that at all, but it's a good perspective.
Yeah, because when I was watching a video, I think I was watching a video or I was reading a study, people were complaining. They were like, it's not fair that I'm punished for my father's transgressions. But you're not really, he just knows the effect of
Mm-hmm.
what will happen if you go down the wrong path too deep.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. You ready for me to
number
go on?
6.
Okay.
Yep.
But showing steadfast love to thousands of those who love me and keep my commandments.
So, I think what's important is that he loves all of us. Like, I think what he's trying to say in this is he loves all of us, but he blesses those that follow him and his commandments. Because, like, he can love the ones, even the ones that blaspheme and push him away, he loves them still, but he's not going to bless them and come into their lives and give them the spirit because they're not following him. So he blesses those that have the spirit, but he loves everyone.
Hmm. Okay. So let me go through my notes for 4 through 6. So,
Okay.
or were you done?
Yep.
Okay. So again, no carved images. That for that one, I was like, oh, I'm not truly sure on that. All I know is that the Lord has no physical form and can't be contained in one. At least at that time, right? So during Exodus, Jesus wasn't here yet, or at least shown to us yet.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Like, so literally everything to that point was made up.
yeah, yeah.
I
So
gotcha.
focus on the divine attributes of God and to worship Him in spirit and in truth. So right here on my study Bible, I was going to read off my study Bible too, real quick. 5. Right here. A jealous God. God the Creator is worthy of all honor from His creation. His creatures are functioning properly only when they give Him the honor and worship that He deserves. God's jealousy shows His concern for His creatures' well-being. Visiting the inequity of their fathers on their children, human experience confirms that immoral behavior by parents often results in suffering for their children and grandchildren. But this general principle is qualified in 2 ways. First, it applies only to those who hate God. The cycle of sin and suffering can be broken through repentance. Second, the suffering comes to the 3rd and 4th generation. While God shows steadfast love to thousands of those who love me and keep my commandments, that is, to the thousand generations, that love Him. So to me, going back to what you were saying about like the sins affecting like their fathers, their children, and their grandchildren, right?
Hmm.
So that can be seen as in like physical abuse, right? So in a sense, I like to look at it like how some people's parents beat them severely, as kids. And as they grew up, they also beat their kids, although slightly less, right?
Yeah.
And then it like goes on until just one day their kids no longer beat. So in a sense, I feel like that's like sinful things too. Like you shouldn't beat your kids like brutally. I don't know how you feel about like hitting your kids and stuff, so I won't
Well,
say onto that.
we spanked our kids when they were younger, but like, um, I don't know.
Yeah.
I want my kids to like respect me, not fear me.
Yeah, yeah, but like there's beatings that would go like beyond.
Hmm.
Yeah,
No, I've never done no crazy
yeah,
shit like that.
yeah,
I've had one or two of those in my day, but
yeah, yeah. But yeah, so stuff like that, and then again, so another like sins that affect generations is pedophilia.
Yeah.
So a lot of the times with pedophilia, it happens because somebody in a family did it to a kid in their family, right? And then that gets passed on, and it keeps going and going. So that's a sin that can affect, generations. Oh, what happened? We're having some technical difficulties, but like I was saying before, that's a sin that can affect generations through generations until repentance, until somebody stops it. Um, while that's happening, I do have another reference in Deuteronomy again, 7 through 9. Know therefore that the Lord your God is God, the faithful God who keeps covenants and steadfast love with those who love him and keep his commandments to the 1,000 generations. Just keep talking, he says. Okay. So I guess I'll just read my verse while he gets back up here. So I will be going through 7 through 9. You shall not take the name of the Lord your God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless who takes his name in vain. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work. So for that I have written down that taking the Lord's name in vain refers to deceptive oaths. So like being like, forgive me, Lord, but give references here. Like, oh no, I swear to God that I didn't do that, even though you did. To justify dishonest actions, the same thing. In magic, I'm not really sure on that one, but that's what I saw. And irrelevant things or disrespectfully. So like, just being like, oh my God. Like, that's kind of just being disrespectful. You shouldn't just use the Lord's name in vain like that. Because the Lord is worthy of all the respect. Sabbath day. This one was a little tricky for me. And unfortunately, Herc was going to let me know more about this, at least on his thoughts on it. So I'll go over what I have and hopefully he can clear it up for me. But the Sabbath day and keep it holy. So not just rest, but to engage in worship, rejuvenating the spirit through prayers and reflections. Do your work beforehand. So back then, so let's see here. Genesis. So the Lord made heaven and earth in 6 days, and on the seventh day he took a break. So that's why we have the Sabbath. Oh, 1 second. Bro, join the party. Okay. I am in the party. You made a new one? Okay. Why didn't you just join the party that was already there?
It wouldn't let me.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
I didn't mean. I don't know what happened. My stuff crashed. I'm sorry.
Okay. Oh, no worries. I just ended up reading 7 through 9. So.
I actually want to go back. I literally disconnected as you talked about pedophilia.
Oh, yeah.
So when I played semi-pro football, I played with a guy who was a child therapist. He worked with children, and he worked with a little boy that was this is what got him out of. He stopped, changed career paths, but he dealt with a kid that was 11 years old, and he had raped his infant sister and had split her. And when he was being interviewed, they asked him why he did it, and he said, because that's how my dad told me he loved me.
Eesh.
And when he told him that, he was like, I can't be in this field anymore, because like, how am I supposed to like help this kid? But it's very, very much what you said, like,
yeah,
that's in his mind, which he had learned is how you love people. So like, it was generational. It had already affected him for the rest of his life. He may never be the same again after that.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's the best. What do you call it? Like the best way that I
Example?
could describe. Yeah, best example that I could use to describe it. That the like beating your kids and then like with pedophilia, because you hear it time and time again that it's like it starts in the family and then it just keeps going.
Right. Like it's that old proverb, that Chinese proverb about the twin boys and their dad was an alcoholic. One grew up to be an alcoholic and one grew up to never take a drink. And when asked why, they both had the same answer, because my dad was an alcoholic.
Oh, I've never heard that one before.
Yeah, like one follows, one breaks the curve, but like
Hmm.
doesn't always happen. You know what I mean? Like a lot of times, it just both of them go down one way.
Yeah. Your stream crashed too?
Yeah. I'll just share yours.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, do you want me to go over 7 through 9 again? Because I read it and went over it, but I can go over
No,
it
I'll
again.
just cover mine. So, cursing and swearing on God, or even using Christians or Christianity as a front for evil intentions. I think that's a big part of it. Like, have you ever seen that pastor, the guy who like has millions of dollars and like convinces his people to give him money after money, but he doesn't put it back towards the Lord? I think that's what they're saying here. I think that's a big part of something like that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And then this is because everyone deserves a day off. You should have a day of worship. Mine isn't Sunday, so
Hmm.
my day is Mondays, because Mondays everyone's at work. I wake up early. I have a really good Bible study. I kind of lounge around the house and rest my body. And it's just time for me and the Lord. I have a Sabbath, but it's not a traditional, like everybody in the family's off. My wife's Sabbath is probably Sunday. She doesn't do much of anything on Sunday.
Hmm.
Saturday she does a lot of running around. I think it's important for like mental reset for your body and your relationship with God. And I think that's why God made the Sabbath. I don't think
Yeah.
it's traditionally like there's no cooking, no cleaning, no nothing, but it's definitely like a day to recharge your batteries, dive into the Word and get in prayer and be close to the Lord.
Hmm.
It definitely helps me being the day after Sunday, because Sunday is when I'm the most on fire, because church gets me going, you know?
Yeah. Um. Yeah. You were gonna. Is that how? What you were gonna talk about the Sabbath being?
Yeah, like I think the Sabbath is more about the commitment to the Lord on a day to day, or not like a certain day that you've dedicated to time with the Lord and
Hmm.
relaxing and recovering. I
Yeah.
think that's what he means by the Sabbath.
Okay. So, I heard that the original Sabbath was Saturday. Do you think we should follow that, or should we go off of like what you say, like do our own Sabbath?
Uh, I think you kind of have to do your own Sabbath with the way the world is built now,
Hmm.
because I work Saturday, so
Yeah.
like I can't have the Sabbath as the day that I work. Um, I mean, technically, according to Scripture, we should work 6 days a week and only have one day off. I have
Yeah.
2 days off, so one of those days needs to be dedicated to the Lord. And I think as long as you're doing that, dedicating that day to the Lord, and it's not just like, oh, I prayed this morning and then I got up and went and did what I wanted to do. That's not maintaining the Sabbath. I think there's a
Yeah.
day meant for the Lord. It doesn't have to be Sunday. If your day off is Wednesday, then that's your Sabbath, I think.
Uh, hold on 1 second. I do have one thing here for it. Matthew, was it Matthew 20? I forgot to write it down. Matthew 20.
Oh, my back. Getting old, dude.
Oh, I must have lost it. Okay. Well, forgive me, Lord, if I am misquoting here, but I'm pretty sure somewhere it says, like Peter says it, like if, like that we aren't bound to the law anymore.
Well, there's three types of laws. There's
Yeah.
ceremonial, um, traditional, and something else.
Mhm.
And one of them has been uh, discontinued because
Mhm.
sacrificial law has been discontinued because Jesus. So
Yeah.
the other ones can be interpreted how you want, or
Yeah.
not how you want, but
But yeah, that if we so again, forgive me if I'm misquoting, but I'm pretty sure somewhere it said that that if we put our faith in the law, then we are subject to all the laws, rather than in Christ, where there is no condemnation. So again, people have different interpretations on that. I'm not quite sure about the Sabbath and stuff. I don't even know if I really do it all that well because you're not supposed to do any work. You're not supposed to you're not even supposed to pick up clothes off the ground. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
According to what it's supposed to be. So I don't know. Um, but yeah, hopefully, what we're doing is okay in the Lord's eye. But yeah, do you want me to? Are you ready to go on?
Yeah, where are we at? Oh, sorry.
10.
Okay.
But the seventh day is a Sabbath to the Lord your God. On it you shall not do any work, you or your sons or your daughters or your male servants or your female servants or your livestock or the sojourner who is within your gates.
So obviously, like we just covered that. I think humans mirror the rhythm of God's creative work, is what I wrote down for this. So like God knew before he created what we were going to need, obviously, because he's the beginning, the middle, and the end of all time. So he knew what everything was going to be. So he knew the importance of the one day of rest, that we had to have at least one day of rest.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to maintain that. But I do think you need to like rest within reason. Like I still need to cook and eat and maintain cleanliness.
Mm-hmm.
But like I don't think I should work 7 days a week. I don't think it's healthy. I don't think it's good for anybody.
Yeah.
So, and then there, when you have that day off, um, at least for me, a day off is not the same as a day off in scripture. Like a day off in scripture is like recharges my batteries. It gets me going. It gets me, I feel better. I have a better outlook on life. I'm more optimistic. But when I don't have those days of prayers, I'm kind of irritable and miserable. So I think that's just as important for the reset.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, because I mean, in the sense, I guess I would say my Sabbath is a Sunday, right? We go to church on Sunday, and that is breaking the Sabbath traveling. So
Hmm.
yeah, it's tough, especially nowadays. But yeah, moving on. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea and all that is in them, and rested on the seventh day. Therefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and made it holy.
So I mean that's kind of redundant. We've covered basically the same thing for the
Yeah,
last three verses. So
that's what that's what I was saying. Should we read the whole sections? But okay,
yeah, I think that was the only section where I have the same thing written down.
okay. Honor your father and your mother, that the days may be long in the land that the Lord your God is giving you.
So to me, I think if you can't love your mother and your father who birthed you, how are you expected to love the father you've never met? And I think that's kind of what the foundation of like loving your mother and father are. Like I have two kids, and I know for a fact I'm the only man in the world that wants my kid to be even better than I am. Like I want the world for them. Like he's like
Hmm.
gonna have haters and people that are envious of him.
Yeah.
And if I love him that way and he loves me back that way, what is the level of love that God gives to us that we should give to God? So
Hmm.
that's why I think the foundation for your parents, the way you treat your parents, because they're the first person that you see in your life that truly love you,
Hmm.
um, they're their earthly representation of what Christ's love is just a fraction of. So if you can't respect them and love them back, how are you supposed to respect the father that you've never met? I think that's why honoring your parents are so good. Plus, like, unfortunately, there's a lot of bad parents out there. You
Yeah.
still need to love and respect them because that's what God asks you to do. I know it's tough, but forgiveness and loving your neighbors important. Same goes for your parents.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. So I have honor shows proper respect to the person in his or her role. So both Jesus and Paul underline the importance of this commandment. So Ephesians 6, 1 through 3 says, children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Honor your father and your mother. This is the first commandment with a promise, that it may go well with you and that you may live long in the land. So it's the first commandment with a promise.
Right.
And I also have one more Timothy, 1 Timothy, so I don't mess up again. 5:4. Yeah, 1 Timothy 5:4. But if a widow has children or grandchildren, let them first learn to show godliness to their own household and to make some return to their parents, for this is pleasing in the sight of the Lord. So, again, it's we're supposed to, so the reasons we follow the commandments is because, like it says, it's pleasing to the sight of the Lord. This is why we do the things that we're supposed to do, that he tells us to do, because we want to make him, happy, proud. And like you were saying before, that what Jesus was saying is that, like, so like you were saying before, that parents, there's some bad parents out there, right, that can affect the children. Rosa actually has, I don't know if she's okay with it, but Rosa's dad is a drunk that, like, kind of left in her life, and she doesn't really care for him all that much, right?
Right.
But like, he, I have no place to talk, but because I don't know.
Yeah.
But in the sense that, like, that hatred for someone, like a parent, it it's not good for you. It
Right.
it's just better to try to forgive and let go.
Hard,
And
obviously,
yeah,
but
again, like, it's easier said than done because I don't know.
right.
But yeah, like Jesus said, that don't commit murder, but also don't hate, because if you hate someone, you're basically committing murder,
Ooh,
which
you're
is,
verse. You're a little too early, dog.
yeah, yeah.
So,
So,
how many of these do you want me to read before you go to this Matthew section? Because I can read how many ever verses you want me to read.
um, so we can do 13. Or are you talking about Matthew? Because I can read
But
Matthew
how?
if you want me to.
Yeah, I'll read Exodus, but how far in Exodus do you want me to read that covers what you're going to read in Matthew?
Okay, so 13, 14, 15, basically.
Those are the three that cover Matthew?
Yeah, I'm gonna be taking one of yours if that's okay with
That's
you.
fine. Yeah. While you're getting set up, I'll talk about mine then. So verse 13 is, you shall not murder, you shall not commit adultery, you shall not steal. So obviously you're going to cover Matthew. I'm not going to cover either one of those. I'll cover the thou shalt not steal. So I think when people think of like thou shalt not steal, you obviously think of like possessional items, right? Like you steal somebody's car or you steal money or but there's a lot more things you can steal. Like you can steal a woman's purity or you can steal like a child's innocence through like you can convince a woman to sleep with you out of wedlock and then she's tainted and then she gets labeled as like a whore, and you could like ruin spiral her down this path. Or you could do the same thing with children, like you could take their purity and then molest them, and then you ruin them for generations, and then you, like we said earlier, you set like a generational curse.
Yeah.
They're like snowballs, and like so. Just because it says like you have to look beyond like face value with like these Ten Commandments, like thou shalt not murder, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not kill. Like these things, obviously, you want to stick to what you interpret initially, but it's deeper than just the like physical virtues. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
You're good. You whenever you want to jump through Matthew.
Okay, so let's see here. So, first of all, the commandment, you shall not murder. So, before I go into Matthew, I want to go over what I wrote down. So, life is precious, a precious gift from God. We were not meant to die, so in turn, we are not meant to take lives. God places value on each person, as all are created in His image. It also goes beyond uh, mere physical killing. So, Matthew 21 through 26. And Jesus answered them, truly I say to you, if you have faith and do not doubt, you will not only do what has been done to the fig tree. Oh, shoot, I'm on the wrong one.
Um, like you were saying, I think murder is it's more than just like a physical act. It's
Yeah,
like if you
that.
wish evil upon somebody.
Yeah. Okay, I got it. You have heard that it was said to those of old, "You shall not murder, and whoever murders will be liable to judgment." But I say to you that everyone who is angry with his brother will be liable to judgment. Whoever insults his brother will be liable to to the council, and whoever says "you fool" will be labeled to the hell or liable to the hellfire. So if you are offering your gift at the altar and there remember that your brother has something against you, leave your gift there before the altar and go. First be reconciled to your brother, and then come and offer your gift. Come to terms quickly with your accuser while you are going with him to court, lest your accuser hand you over to the judge, and the judge to the guard, and you be put in prison. Truly I say to you, you will never get out until you have paid the last penny. So that's basically like saying like it goes even beyond murder, right?
Right.
So having hate in your heart, even though it's sometimes it's hard to forgive, you just gotta just learn to let things go, because I feel like hate can lead to other sins. So like you could hate. So I would like to say like a road rage incident, right?
Yeah.
Let's say just one day you cut someone off on accident, they start beeping at you, you throw them the finger, right? Well, you come to the stop sign, this guy pulls a gun on you and shoots you. Well, there you go. Sin,
Right. Anger led
simple,
to murder.
yeah, anger led to murder. So like simple acts like that can lead to death in senses like that.
Plus, the Lord calls you to be humble. So, like, if you
Mm-hmm.
cut somebody off and they honk at you, just apologize, whether you're
It's
right
like,
or
oh,
wrong. Just,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I offended you. I made you mad. Because love conquers all, man. I know it's
Mm,
cheesy, but
yeah. And again, like just going to that, you don't know, like if that finger was the last straw. They're like, whatever, I'm over it. So again, um, yeah, avoid hatred. Uh, and then 14 is you shall not commit adultery. So lustful intents and divorce is wrong. So divorce wasn't something that was authorized by God, but Moses gave people the certificate because they were grumbling. Is how I perceived it. Is that how you see it?
hmm
Okay. So then that goes in also in Matthew, starting from 5:27. I didn't write an insult. You have heard that it was said, "You shall not commit adultery." But I say to you that everyone who looks at a woman with lustful intent has already committed adultery with her in his heart. If your right eye causes you to sin, tear it out and throw it away, for it is better that you lose one of your members than that your whole body be thrown into hell. If your right hand causes you to sin, cut it off and throw it away, for it is better that you lose one of your members than that your whole body goes into hell. It is also said, "Whoever divorces his wife, let him give her a certificate of divorce." But I say to you that everyone who divorces his wife except on the grounds of sexual immorality makes her commit adultery, and whoever marries a divorced woman commits adultery. So, like that verse says, like lustful or committing adultery is also with like a lustful intent. So, like if you're married and you look at a woman a certain way and you're like, oh, you know what I mean? You're already committing adultery in your mind. So you should like avoid those certain situations. Like don't be looking at a woman in a certain way in light. And like it says, it's better to avoid the situation altogether than to have to cut out an eye or your hand. You know what I'm saying? So, and then again, divorce is wrong. If you divorce someone not under sexual immorality, grounds of sexual immorality, then you're basically making it so that two people commit adultery. So, in a sense, divorce is wrong. What do you think about that?
So obviously we've already done Sermon on the Mount because it's probably the best um, chapter in the Bible. We covered this in a previous podcast. Um, I feel marriage. I'm very strong about marriage. I
Hmm.
think I think the certificate is very much just looked at as a piece of paper today. It's a
Hmm.
easy way out. I think it's bull crap. But one thing I will say I think you're wrong about is you said that it doesn't want you don't want to have to rip your eyes out. I think it's saying that like you need to do whatever's necessary to get away from those things. Um, I will say though, lust is probably the sin I struggle with the most. I'd probably do it 3 to 4 times a day with like just people. But one thing I have like cut out is like the thirst traps on TikTok. I've cut that out completely. Like porn and sexual content, I've cut out completely. I'm just tempted by the beauty of women, really. Like it's something I'll never be able to get away from. Women are everywhere, and
Hmm.
women are beautiful creatures. Like God made them beautiful. Unfortunately, um, I try my
Unfortunately.
best. Yeah, I mean, I try my best, but like I would like to hope that my intents aren't like my intent is not like to commit adultery, but I do it just because I'm just a sexual creature, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Again, it goes back to like the flesh. Like you're supposed to deny the flesh. And I wasn't saying that like you were saying that cutting out your eye, like you were saying that it's best to just completely like avoid the situation any way possible, you know. So like cutting out
Yeah,
your eyes and your hands is better than going to hell, right? It's
correct.
literally,
That's what he's saying.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's literally stated there. But we don't have to take it that far if we just. So in a sense, in like modern terms, I would take it as like you, getting rid of TikTok, social media, or even, you know, not using your phone. That'd be
Right.
literally like cutting off a member because I mean, how connected are we to our phones nowadays?
I'll
Yeah.
tell you, since I've been without mine and Lent, yeah, it's sometimes it's harder than the lack of food.
So then, you shall not steal. Uh, don't steal. Stealing can lead to social breakdown, eroding trust among individuals. Uh, act with honesty, integrity in all areas of our lives, reflecting God's justice and love. So, yeah, basically, don't steal. That if you steal, that so if we lived in a world where we didn't have to worry about anybody stealing, we could just leave all our stuff outside. We could leave our windows open, our doors open, right?
Right.
That'd be like it just would make lives so much easier. But unfortunately, we live in a sinful world where we have to lock our doors and lock our windows. So that's like basically saying that like it leads to a breakdown of trust and just humanity, right? So in a sense, like in a gated community, I would say that most people would leave like their doors unlocked there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Or like
Whereas
in the
like
country.
yeah, or whereas if you lived in the cities, they got like graded doors. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
on their windows and stuff. So like you can see how you can see how like sin reflects just in the environment alone.
Right.
Um,
Or population because sin is so prevalent that the more people, the more sin.
yeah. What's the next one?
16. Read
16.
16 for me.
So you shall not bear false witness against your neighbor.
So obviously you shouldn't like lie on your neighbor. That's pretty obvious. But I think it's just you could be just as guilty as not speaking up in the face of untruth. So like if your neighbor is like if the one neighbor's like, "Oh, Arnie stole my he stole my lawnmower," and I know you didn't steal it, and I don't say anything, and you get the reputation as a thief, even though I know the truth, that's just as guilty.
Hmm.
I think at the end of the day, it's really about like doing to everybody as you want done to you. So don't do anything wrong to your neighbor because that could come back to you, and you don't. you don't deserve to be treated or like labeled that way. So just do to your neighbor what you want done to you.
Yeah. So I mean, and then in a sense, I mean, look at like that's basically what happened to Jesus is that they were making a bunch of false accusations against him, even though
Mm.
they knew that he wasn't doing that stuff.
Bars. My man's
Hmm.
dropping bars, dog.
But
I didn't even think
yeah,
about that. Yeah.
such desires stem from discontentment and can lead to sinful actions. Oh no, I'm too far. Bearing false
You,
witness can destroy reputations, break trust, and foster division among people. So now I'm going to finish that last part of Matthew 33 through 48. Again, you have heard that it was said to those of old, you shall not swear falsely, but shall perform to the Lord what you have sworn. But I say to you, do not take an oath at all, either by heaven or for it is the throne of God, or by earth, for it is the footstool, or by Jerusalem, for it is the city of the great King. And do not take an oath by your head, for you cannot make one hair white or black. Let what you say simply be yes or no. Anything more than this comes from evil. You have heard that it was said. Oh, wait. Oh, no, I don't think I have to read the rest of this. Yep, nope. Okay, yeah, that was it. So, yeah,
all right.
yes or no was the last bit. So,
That's right, bro. Yes or no.
yeah, yes or no.
Um, so verse 17 is, you shall not covet your neighbor's house. You shall not covet your neighbor's wife or male servant or female servant or ox or donkey or anything that is your neighbor's.
So,
So, I mean, obviously, I think it targets the inward heart, prohibiting greedy longing for a neighbor's house, spouse, or possessions. I think this commandment highlights the sin originates through the actions demanding content over envy or contentment over envy. Um, so it's basically it's not only admiration, but it's like a sinful longing for like breaking the Ten Commandments, like adultery or stealing. So it's hard to explain. So it's basically,
like all of them in a sense.
yeah, basically like it's what you where you are inside
Hmm.
happens is like preventing you from like doing these things like later in life. Like if you're envious of anything of anybody else, you'll chase those things
Hmm.
from
So,
somebody else, and it happens from within.
yeah. So, you talking about that actually made me realize another thing, but I won't look. I'll just speak on that one a little bit because I don't have the information down. But so such desires stem from discontentment and can lead to sinful actions. So what I have here is Cain and Abel. So Genesis 4 1 through 13. Now Adam knew Eve, his wife, and she conceived and bore Cain, saying, I have gotten a man with the help of the Lord. And again she bore his brother Abel. Now Abel was a keeper of sheep, and Cain a worker of the ground. In the course of time, Cain brought to the Lord an offering of fruit of the ground. And Abel also brought of the first fruit of his flock and of their fat portions. And the Lord had regard for Abel and his offering. But for Cain and his offering he had no regard. So Cain was very angry, and his face fell. The Lord said to Cain, Why are you angry, and why has your face fallen? If you do well, will you not be accepted? And if you do not do well, sin is crouching at the door. Its desire is contrary to you, but you must rule over it. Cain spoke to Abel his brother, and when they were in the field, Cain rose up against his brother Abel and killed him. Then the Lord said to Cain, Where is Abel your brother? He said, I do not know. Am I my brother's keeper? And the Lord said, What have you done? The voice of your brother's blood is crying from the ground. You're crying to me from the ground. And now you are cursed from the ground which has opened its mouth to receive your brother's blood from your hand. When you work the ground, it shall no longer yield to you its strength. You shall be a fugitive and a wanderer on the earth. Cain said to the Lord, My punishment is greater than I can bear. So, right there in a sense is that like the jealousy led to the killing of his brother, right?
Right.
And
Which
then,
affected another.
yeah,
The wanting his brother's stuff led to another. violation of the Ten Commandment, which is
Mm,
murder.
yep. And then there's the one that I just thought of now is David killing of the soldier.
Oh, Uriah.
Putting him on the
Yeah,
front line so that he could get his wife because he desired her.
yeah, Bathsheba.
Hmm.
Yeah, I
So
only know that story because it's my son's name.
yeah, so there you go, another form of like coveting, jealousy, and just not being content with what you have because David had it all, and still he wanted more.
And I think, it's funny you just said that too, like not being happy with what you have. We also live in an era where social media like runs rampant and
Hmm.
people have these fake lives that you become envious of, but it's all smoke and mirrors and loans and tears behind the camera and no real love and connection,
Hmm.
but it just looks glamorous. So like the American dream is still the American dream, man. A white picket fence with a beautiful family that follows the Lord is really all you need. But we fall in love with these like exotic trips to Kirk and Caicos or whatever the heck it's called with supermodels. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Not me, but you do you.
Well, people like it's glamorous to see that
Yeah,
stuff. I'd rather just sit at home in my AC'd house to play video games, you know?
yeah. I just want to Mazda CX-50, No.
Do you want to read me 18?
Yeah. Now when all the people saw the thunder that flashes, let me start over real quick. Now when all the people saw the thunder and the flashes of lightning and the sound of the trumpets and the mountain smoking, the people were afraid and trembled, and they stood far off. Had a
All
stroke
right.
there.
Yeah, so obviously I think this is one where you should read the next one.
Okay.
That
Yeah.
kind of helps me. Yeah.
I was gonna read like 18 through 21. I feel like.
All right, you could do that, and we could
Okay.
talk about it all.
Yeah. And said to Moses, "You speak to us, and we will listen, but do not let God speak to us, lest we die." Moses said to the people, "Do not fear, for God has come to test you, that the fear of him may be before you, that you may not sin." The, the people stood far off while Moses drew near to the thick darkness where God was.
So obviously I wrote down for 18, to see and hear God's power is scary. We don't understand how powerful he is until we've lived it. So like I think that's like you can assume like power, like from what we see, like I think the most powerful thing that I can like imagine in my life is like an atomic bomb, right?
Hmm.
But like that was created by the creation that he created. So that doesn't even touch the level of spectrum of where his power is. And I think for the people that weren't followers of God, to hear his voice was scary because
Yeah.
like um to hear someone so pure speak to you that's full of impurities is scary because you're not following him. But for Moses, he's like, man, just follow the guy. Um, like I love the Lord and praise him. He's the greatest thing that ever happened because he's a true believer. He's not a lukewarm Christian. And I
Hmm.
think that's kind of a telltale sign. Like a certain level of fear shows that you're not where you need to be along your journey because the closer you get to God, the more you like have admiration and excitement to see him and stuff. But the
Hmm.
further away you are, the more fearful you are of him.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because I mean, the even though unfortunately I've been like struggling as of late, still, um, I still feel like more content with and less scared of like death. Right? I'm still a little
I'm
scared
getting
of
there.
it.
Yeah. Every day I get closer
Yeah,
to that.
I'm
Yeah.
a little scared, but at the same time, it's like I just got to remember that there is no condemnation. And no matter what we do, we're good. We should try to do better, but that doesn't save us, right?
Right.
But again, I'm getting better at like being less scared. What I have written down for 18 through 21 is the presence of God manifested in such dramatic ways, uh, meant to instill both awe and reverence in the minds and the hearts of the Israelites. Their fear and trembling reflects a deep awareness of God's holiness and majesty. So I mean, like you were saying, like imagine just a bunch of like lightning just exploding all around you, and you were saying like the most powerful thing you could think of is like an atomic bomb, right?
Yeah,
But imagine. So what were they seeing right now? At the time, I believe they were seeing like a a cloud in the sky, and in the
yeah,
night they would see like basically just a big ball of fire is how I interpret it.
yeah. Or
So
lightning. Yeah,
yeah, so in a sense they're like we're gonna die if God comes talk to us, you know. So they're like we'll talk to you, so we don't get blown up. And Moses was like, hey, don't worry about it. God was just making sure that you were fearful of him to stop you from sinning. You know,
right.
so fearing the Lord um, does instill like a fear of you. Although for me now, it's a fear of separation, not a fear of
Oh,
judgment.
right.
A little bit of judgment because I mess up a lot, but but mostly separation because I don't want to be separated forever.
Well, I feel like the more like sinning I do or the further I drift, like I don't feel like, oh, he's gonna like disown me. I get like depressed and sad because like
Hmm.
I've lost the fire.
Yeah.
So like that's how I know I'm on the right path. One thing I wanted to highlight too before we go to the next section is 21 says the people stood far off while Moses drew near to the thick darkness where God was. I think that's important because this scene highlights the holiness of God and the terror of sin, the necessity for a mediator, which is Moses, to bridge the gap between God and his people. So I think like this is why prophets were so important back then,
Mm.
because obviously Jesus hadn't come yet, and you go from like an everyday life to like this almighty power of the Lord. There was no one between, so
Hmm.
prophets were able to predict, see, and explain things that happened before, during, and after. So they became like almost like supernatural to people. So they were the ones that were between that helped bridge the gap, because I think God and his power and his might, it was just too much for the average person. And I think that's why people like Moses and Isaiah and Elijah were important.
Yeah. Well, I mean, God chose Moses as his interceder, basically,
Hmm.
to speak to the people. Was this before or after the golden calf?
I
I
don't
think it
know.
was
Read the next section. I'll look it up.
okay. Um, 22 through 26. Uh, why can't I find it? Oh, there it is. Um, and the Lord said to Moses, thus you shall say to the people of Israel, you have seen for yourselves that I have talked with you from heaven. You shall not make gods of silver to be with me, nor shall you make for yourselves gods of gold. An altar of the earth you shall make for me, and sacrifice on it your burnt offerings and your peace offerings, your sheep and your oxen. In every place where I cause my name to be remembered, I will come to you and bless you. If you make me an altar of stone, you shall not build it of hewn stone, for if you wield your tools on it, you profane it. And you shall not go up by steps to my altar, that your nakedness be not exposed on it.
All right. Before we cover the last section here, it was actually before the golden calf. The golden calf is Exodus 32.
Okay. Oh yeah, because they weren't written yet. Okay, so
Yeah.
they didn't know. Okay. But yeah. Well, what do you have for that?
All right. So, for 22, I have, you have no reason to not believe and follow now. I've showed you the truth and who I am. Those who know must follow. So like obviously we're taught like the more you know, the higher standard you'll be held to,
Mhm.
as Christians. And I think you can't get more knowledge than a direct interaction with God. So like there's no reason to not believe in the Almighty and a higher power because you've seen it. Um,
Yeah.
so now you must follow. And then for 23 and 24, I have these verses underscore that true worship is not about costly idols, but obedience and the presence of God among his people.
Okay. So what I have for 22 through 26 is material idols symbolize a broader concept of idolatry, anything that takes the place of God in a person's heart and life. So I think that it doesn't just, well, so there it just says like idols of like gold and silver, right? But I think that like it even transcends that. So like when people, whatever gets in the way of God is what I think is like a material idol. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So like if you're like, oh, I'm gonna skip on my Bible study today, I'm gonna just look at my phone instead. Your
it's
phone,
become an idol.
yeah, is your material idol now.
Hmm.
Stuff like that. So like cars, TVs, internet, stuff like that. Um, the command to create an altar from earth signifies the humble and modest approach to worship, highlighting that true honor of God does not require an elaborate structure, but rather sanctifying and reverence, or sincerity and reverence. The act of offering burnt and peace offerings serves to express gratitude, devotion, and the relationship between God and his people.
So it's interesting that you looked at it that way, that it's more about the like the process of it instead of
Mm,
like the beauty of it. Because I took it more of like man can't chisel stone to the beauty in which God can make it. So
mm,
like I took it as like we're trying too hard to make something look good when God gave us this stone in the first place. So like why waste our time with something that he's creating anyway?
mm.
So it's like a waste of time and you're like distracting from the cause.
Yeah.
For 25. And then 26, I talked to you before this. Like this is one of the verses that we had established I was going to talk about,
Ugh.
and I didn't have a clue what this meant. But I didn't think of it from like a literal context, but the nakedness is because they wore like long robes, and walking up the steps would expose their like private parts. So this instruction emphasizes modesty and worship and separates Israeli religious practices from shameful pagan rituals and promotes humility, ensuring worshipers do not elevate themselves above the altar. Because there's certain religions where like there's like sexual sacrifices or sacrifices of beautiful virgins or um, this one, he says that literally so that we keep our modesty while we're
Hmm.
praising and worshiping him. And I would have never picked that up if I didn't study this.
Oh. Yeah, I guess so, huh? Yeah, when I read it, I didn't even think much of it the first time, right? He's
Yeah,
like, okay, just don't go up there naked is what I thought, but I never thought like, oh, just the opening of your robe at the bottom, you know.
is
But
enough to expose yourself and it's not modest in the eyes of the Lord.
yeah, I had something else, but it's escaping me. Maybe it's supposed to. But yeah, um, oh yeah, maybe God didn't want them to build like extravagant altars and stuff too, because they were constantly on the move. You know what I mean? So it would be
Oh yeah, there's like
kind of like a,
nomadish people.
yeah. So it'd be kind of a waste of time because then it could be desecrated in a sense. I don't know. That's just a thought. It's probably incorrect, but yeah, and I think that what you said is true, that God had already created the materials for the altar, right?
Right.
So
Why waste your time trying to perfect something that's already perfect?
yeah, and some people could say that, well, they ended up making the tabernacle and the Ark of the Covenant and stuff, but God
Yeah.
gave them the instructions on how
I
to
was gonna
make
say
it. Yeah,
he gave the blueprint, dog.
yeah.
So
I just read it. It's quite a
uh,
lot.
it is a lot.
But yeah.
Um, so I guess my conclusion would be that basically if I were to take Exodus 20 and sum it up into like a little section, God spoke directly to the people and it scared the hell out of them.
Mm,
But it gave them the awareness they needed and it gave them the foundation of holiness, the benchmark to strive for and closest to God and heavenly expectations for believers to live by. That's basically what the Ten Commandments are. It
yeah.
was a culture shock of the power and divine power that the Lord is to try to write them towards him, and he gave him a baseline for them to follow that'll lead them. If you stick to these the best you can, it'll lead you to him.
Yeah. And again, that goes to like the morality system of like our general lives. So people will complain and say, "Oh no, it's just how we are," but that's just how we're supposed to be, right? But we live on Christian morals in the United States, right? And in some other places too, is we try to follow the Ten Commandments as a morality system, right? To stop us from
Right.
devolving. So, like, if you look at places that don't follow the Ten Commandments or the Christian morality, it's kind of brutal there.
Right.
Like you were saying in like the Middle East, right?
Yeah, it's
Uh,
bad, dude.
some
It's bad
places
there.
in Brazil too, where like I don't know, just a lot of bad stuff happened. I mean there is bad stuff, bad places just here in the United States too, but more more often than not, most people here follow the Christian morality of the Ten Commandments, even though some people would be like, no, that's not why I do it. It is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's your foundation,
Yeah.
whether you acknowledge it or not. That's why the generational thing's important.
I mean, it's
Because
so.
like you might not be a Christian, but your morals that you were raised on are based off of Christian values.
Yeah. And I think that's why morality as we go on in our lives especially are starting to get like turned. I feel like people are no longer following or trying to follow the Christian moralities. And you can see how it like devolves our culture. I mean, just look at like transgenderism,
The refusal for like open conversations. It's like
uh,
your way or no way.
how easy like pornography stuff or whatever.
Pornographic material,
Yeah,
yeah.
pornographic material. There we go.
Pornography.
Yeah, I couldn't think of the word, but yeah, and just stuff like that is so like prevalent and easily accessed. I mean, you see it all the time. I mean, it's a little funny, and this kind of has nothing to do with anything, but I mean, isn't it funny how you would consider a woman in her underwear to be unmodest, yet you'll see women in bathing suits at like pools and beaches in the same outfit?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
I
I think,
suppose I didn't think about that. I think another thing where you talk about like the way that our morals have changed and like when I was a kid, this just goes back to loving each other. My dad had friends because I grew up in the military. My dad was in the service.
mhm,
He had friends from all walks of life, man. He had like black friends and Spanish friends and white friends and Asian friends that grew up Muslims and Christians and Buddhists, and they would just like sit around, drink beer, barbecue, and debate like their lives, man, like their belief systems and all these things.
mhm,
And they would not come to an agreement because they were, raised differently, but they left every time with a level of respect and like admiration for each other as people. They still loved each other.
yeah,
Nowadays, when you have like a disagreement with somebody when it comes to like politics or ethics or religion, it's like you're either going to believe my way or you're a bigot that needs to be like banned and mistreated and like ostracized. And there's like no love for like understanding for other people anymore. And that's once you lose the humility is when things start to go down.
yeah, I think so. That in a sense, I struggle with some of those things too, like watching just like all the like hate campaigns and stuff on the internet and stuff, dunking on people. It's hard to like not have your mind like changed in ways. You keep watching things that say a certain thing, and you're like, oh, then maybe this is an issue, but like racism in a sense, it's not everybody. Not everybody does it. It's not. It's all individual people, and you got to remember that. Uh-oh. Can you hear that?
Yeah. You
You
know
can.
what?
Okay, okay, so we're good. But yeah, mm, just again, it's the moral code that we follow today. It's the moral code that I try to follow, and it's the moral code that we should always follow. I believe.
I agree.
How much time we got in this? Oh wow,
Yeah.
it
It's long.
It went longer than I thought it would.
Me too.
Probably because of my fault again.
That's all
I feel
right.
like I had too much.
No,
Um,
there's no such thing as too much, bro. We're talking about the Lord.
yeah. But yeah, that's all I got. What about you?
Yeah, it's pretty much what I got. Nothing crazy this week. Nothing really to talk about or
Nothing.
reflect on.
Yeah. Um, Lent is coming to a close here. One last thing to talk about. When do you stop? When
Good
does your Lent
Friday.
end?
The
Good
Friday
Friday.
before Easter.
So not Thursday.
No.
I'm so devastated. Not really, but I thought Thursday was it. I was getting ready, dog. I was gonna.
Nah, it's the third. The
It's
third is the end.
if Lent through my failures has shown me one thing, it's that I got a long way to go, and I'll probably always have a way to go. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If Lit has shown me anything, I do really good until I break, and then I just almost give up. I was like, yeah, whatever.
Oh man. All right. Well. Yeah. Thank you everybody for listening to us. Thank you Heavenly Father for giving us discernment and helping us to understand your word and to preach it to whoever may be willing to listen. Um, that's all I got. God bless you. God keep you safe and watch over you and all that you do.
I appreciate anybody that tuned in or anybody that's going to watch this. I hope it helps anybody. Um, just know that if you listen to this podcast or you're in a place where you think you're ready to welcome God into your heart, pray to Him, accept Him into your heart. I suggest you read Matthew 5, ask the Spirit into your heart, and comment any questions or concerns you have. And we'll definitely both be here to help you along the way. It's a hell of a journey. It's a hard one,
Mm-hmm.
but it's where everybody wants to be. And I hope you all stay happy, healthy, and actively in pursuit of the kingdom of God. Love you all.
Amen.